It has been a busy week for the 1UP Turbo Truck Series, but the racing is back like we always trust it to be, and it is here in the Irish Hills of Michigan at Michigan International Speedway, this beautiful 2-mile wide-open racetrack, spacious all around, where these guys I expect to go 4 and 5 wide, up almost to 200 miles per hour for over the course of 40 laps here this afternoon. And alongside me in the booth to bring you all the action is former Turbo Truck Series champion Ryan Griffin, who always loves when 1UP visits his neck of the woods. So, what is it about this track that makes it so special for drivers and spectators alike?
Basically, pick a spot on the racetrack, and they will probably put a truck or car there. There is so many grooves and lines at this racetrack. You will see them fan out 3 and 4 wide through the corners. And it's not like a super speedway where they're really compact. There's room to run. And these guys take every opportunity to run everywhere they want to run on the racetrack. And it's a blast to watch as a fan. It's a blast to drive as a driver because you're not really stuck behind somebody. You got lanes to get around them. And it's just overall a blast. Yeah, it also helps that it is my home racetrack, but drivers love coming here. You ask any driver, you want a racetrack that you can move around and be able to move grooves on and to be able to pass people and make passing easier. And this place definitely delivers with that. And the fans are in for a real treat. That's why they pack this place every year that the series comes here, and they're packed in today for yet another one.
Absolutely. Though I did say there was a lot going on in the past week, and we can bring that with you now, along with our points update. After 2 races in the playoffs, 5 remain, and you'll notice already that one of our playoff contenders is no longer in contention. John McFadden, the winner last time out at Carbondale, stepped away from the series after that win for personal reasons. He will be missed, but stepping into his truck for the rest of the season, Maston Rimmel, who has got a modified gig for 2026, but he's looking to knock the rust off. He's gotten into this really powerful truck, and he's going to start second with it. He's still in contention for the Owners' Championship, is Maston Rimmel, but that is a huge obstacle that the rest of the playoff field has just cleared.
Yeah, and the fact that team won last race out, and then suddenly things happen and there's a driver change, and you know, as somebody that has yet to experience that either as a driver or an owner, it's got to be hard on all those shop guys that put all that effort into that team. They were thinking they were going to run for a championship this year, which they still have a chance to do. They still have a chance to get the Owners' Championship. But the fact that they had a chance to, compete for the Drivers' Championship, that's the big one everybody wants. And, that opportunity pretty much fell by their wayside this week. I'm sure they're going to come out with the same mentality. Hey, we want to win, and we're going to prove that no matter who's in our truck, we're going to win. But you feel for them in that they had an opportunity to win the Drivers' Championship this year, and, circumstances didn't work out. But, hey, it's a new opportunity. They're coming in the momentum if they just won the week out. So I guarantee you those guys are going to be tough to beat today. And it may be a different guy behind the wheel, but if they could continue to do the effort, in the garage and give them a truck worthy of being competitive, maybe the driver can just sit in and do what McFadden did last week.
Very well said, indeed. As we can now bring you the starting lineup for tonight's 40 laps of racing action. Paul Villalobos, this is the track he had circled on his calendar once the playoffs got underway. He loves racing at Michigan. This is where he got his Nitro National Series debut last year. He's had a lot of success here, there, and in the trucks as well. He lines up on pole position with Maston Rimmel alongside him in that 98 truck. We were just talking about him. He's already made a big impression, second in practice, second in qualifying, looking to go one better here today. As we've got all 9 of our remaining playoff drivers starting in the top 12, so there's not much room for error if one of those guys were to slip up and have a bit of a rough day here at Michigan, because they're all so close to the front of the field.
Yeah, they're all so close, and as we saw by the points, only 37 points separate them as of this moment after 2 races in these playoffs. So again, you got to take it. I've said this before in several other races. You got to take it. They're going to have to take advantage of the opportunities. Everybody's starting near the front, so the only way you're going to be able to really gain anything is to be basically where Paul is starting. You got to be the leader pretty much and lead laps and start seeing if you can get those bonus points to kind of separate yourself from the rest of the pack. And it should be fun with all of them up there. Everybody's going to be going. We got multi-crews on this track, and it's definitely going to be a blast to watch. I'm glad I'm up here instead of down there though, because I guarantee you the nerves are high right now.
It's not a matter of if they'll go 3, 4, 5 wide. It's a matter of when and how long it'll take them to get there. But with that being said, we've got 42 trucks ready to take the green flag here at Michigan International Speedway, and we are ready to bring you that action now. It is race 3 of the 1UP Turbo Truck Series playoffs at Michigan, and the green flag set to get this great race underway, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be an absolute thrill ride here in the Irish Hills. Getting set for an intense 40 laps of racing here in Michigan. Villalobos and Rimmel on the front row. Villalobos starts to accelerate. The field already starting to get antsy back there. We're underway at Michigan. The field's already not even wasting time. Look at that. Whitmer and AF Walsh down on the bottom. They're already making it 4 wide, and we haven't even gotten to the first corner.
It's Michigan. I said they were going to run pretty much everywhere, every opportunity they had, and well, it took them not even get through turn 1 before they were 4. And as I said, it's those playoff guys. I think the back of the playoff guys. I said you need to go forward if you're going to gain points. And I think AF Walsh and Justin Whitmer took me seriously there on that start, especially AF Walsh, because he's going to try to gun and maybe see if he can take. He's 4th right now. See if he can get more on the bottom of the racetrack.
And meanwhile, Curtis Stevenson leads the opening lap from 3rd on the grid. Stevenson was 5th on the opening grid, and he is now your leader. Walsh started 11th. He's already up into the top 5. That all happened in the span of about 2 miles. This racing always electric here at Michigan. Look at this pack. They're squirming. They're fanning out 3, 4 wide into the corners and down the straightaways. You just never know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, and this is amazing to see. And again, a lot of room on this racetrack, so these guys can run 3 wide easily, and they just from the drop of the green they've been added as AF Walsh is trying to gun from 11th on the starting grid to try to take the point. He's going to try to squirt out front here into 1 and 2, but Stevenson and the 66 still fight, but it looks like Walsh will gain the advantage off turn 2. AF Walsh to the lead.
And that is very impressive from that 02 to jump from 11th to 1st in just 3 laps. That truck is very strong, and I would not be surprised if he stays up at the front of this field for a good long while.
And I hate to interrupt you, but look at this 13 truck too.
He never disappoints. It's always surprising, and yet it's never surprising to see Darren Mills running at the front of this field. He's lit up this truck ever since he got behind the wheel of it midway through the season, and he is going to be a force in this race as well. He's joining his teammates up at the front of the field.
Well, we talked about Walsh starting 11th, Mills started 13th. So in the same amount of time, he's moved his way into 2nd. So I guess you didn't want to be on the front row, because it seems like these 2 guys that started 11th and 13th are now running 1-2 in this race. And here's the guy we've been talking about. We talked about him in pre-race, this 98 truck of Rimmel holding down 3rd place. He started 2nd, kind of got a little shuffled there, that little shuffle, but holding down the podium at the moment, and got a quick truck in qualifying. We'll see if he can translate it to race pace. So far, it looks like he has. The battle is actually for 4th at the moment.
Oh, here we go. We got 4 wide deeper in the pack.
Here.
Oh, we got a crash.
Oh, there we go.
Ramashko, Kadirashov involved, Josh Gibson involved, San Fatal, Blaine Saylor's involved in this one. Oh, and San Fatal's going for a wild ride down the back straightaway, end over end, side over side. A wild tumble for Alex San Fatal is going to put us under our first caution of the day. But you just saw it coming, didn't you? Where they were running so tight together, just one wrong move was going to light the fuse.
Yeah, and it looked like the 4 truck may have gotten hooked coming off of turn 2, but I think it was they were probably just 4 wide, and they were trying to even it out of 2, and the 4 just whoever was to his outside. We'll see here when we check the replay for it, but I think it was over to the outside of the 4, turned him into the outside wall, and it was on from there. And unfortunately, Alex took a wild ride in that 43. Hopefully we'll see him. Hopefully he appears to be okay, but Man, wild ride down the backstretch here at Michigan.
We've seen it before, cars going upside down the back here at Michigan, and we're seeing it again today. Our first caution comes on lap number 6, and I would expect the most of the field here to stay out. We're not in the window yet to make it to the end of the race on a pit stop, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some guys maybe at the tail end of the field come down. Probably all the guys with damage to try and assess their trucks. Looks like Derek Hamill with some damage, Mitchell Carter with a small piece as well. The 59's coming to pit road. Let's see who else is going to join him there. Clayton Sessum in the 82, Blaine Saylor.
Yeah, Sailor's coming.
Yeah, he was our only playoff driver involved in this.
Yeah, Saylor, it's unfortunate, especially with the start he had kind of these playoffs, that to get caught up in an early mess here because
he was
he
only
had such a good start going.
He was only 10 points out of the lead in third place, so very tough break for these guys. But you see, there's so many trucks involved in this. They're all coming down pit road. I think the only ones that are going to be out of the race from this are obviously San Vital and possibly the 54 Stephen Myers as well. I think the 54 is already pulled out of the race, but other than that, I think everybody else should be able to get back on their way with a little bit of crash repair. So it all starts with the 44 of Ramashko, and it was Blaine Saylor to his outside, just came up at the wrong time. The 99 gets turned around, he had a good qualifying run, and then San Vital slides down the track and just gets hit by the 54. That's what sent him tumbling in a wild fashion down the backstretch here at Michigan. Very scary accident, but believe it or not, that's actually a kind of a good accident because it's dissipating energy the more it goes over and over.
So we'll look at this again, and I'm actually surprised at how much the 43 went over, but we'll take a look at it again. You see the 4 he kind of pinballed. I think maybe was that Whitworth who was inside?
No, that's the 95, Wilkinson.
The 95 kind of got into him a little, kind of pushed him over, and then Saylor was kind of just stuck to the outside.
And then you have a big stack up. The 77, the 51's back there, but man, San Vital.
I can't believe how it seems too like the truck was just gonna maybe lazily slide over on the side, but it's like as soon as it caught into the ground, it started flipping more quickly. That's kind of a weird one to see it kind of almost speed up as it flipped.
A very tough break for Alex San Vital and for everyone else in this wreck, but it just comes with the territory of this close racing at this high speeds.
This track kind of lends itself to this kind of, when you get this kind of racing, wild incidents, as we look again this time from the 43.
Yeah, he just had nowhere to go, didn't he? He thought he was clear of it, but then he just got hooked.
The 59 got in the back of him, and then he slid down the track, and then just the 54 coming across just hit him just right that it sent him spiraling.
Well, the good news is he is all right. He got out of that thing under his own power. Probably a bit shaken up, but otherwise all right. But he is going to be one of 2 retirements from this race as a result of that incident. Him and Stephen Myers in the 54 out of the race from this. But hopefully we'll get the 1-to-go signal here, and we'll get this race restarted about maybe 1 or 2 laps from now.
What's going to be interesting to see here, too, we saw the charge that both Walsh and Mills put on here at the start. I'm interested to see if anybody could do that here. Granted, we're going to be single file versus double file the initial start, but it was essentially outside the top 10 to basically 1-2 in the race. So be interested to see if anybody has that same kind of charge here on this restart.
Well, the good news is we do have the 1-to-go signal here, so we will be going back racing on lap number 9. Hopefully, with a single-file restart, it'll be a little more contained for these guys, but I do still want to see a lot of moving around with these trucks, and you'll get that here at Michigan, and that's what people love about this racing. But quick rundown of your top 10 before we get restarted here. AF Walsh is your race leader. Maston Rimmel started second, still running in second. Curtis Stevenson in third. Darren Mills in fourth. Paul Villalobos, the pole sitter, in fifth. Then David Wells in sixth position. Jesse Turner in only his 3rd career start in the series. He's up to 7th spot. Justin Whitmer 8th. Santi Messi 9th. And Francois Chastain completes your top 10 as we get ready for this restart.
And again, it'll be interesting to see if we see any charges kind of like we saw at the start. Because again, The track we saw it in the opening run there that you could run in 3-4 wide. It'd be interested to see who's willing to take that risk to try to get to the front before, as we saw, something may happen.
When we head into the restart zone, the field starts to accelerate, and we're back underway on lap number 9. And Walsh gets a good launch on him, but look at already these guys are starting to fan out down the front straightaway and into turn 1. Curtis Stevenson's going to try and take a look on the 98 to try and get the runners-up spot back, and he's bringing his teammate with him.
Yeah, the teammates working together to try to work the inside here, see if they can get a couple of positions.
Oh, and
but the 66 kind of peeks to the inside now of his teammate.
Turner thought about making it 4 wide, but he thought better of it. Slides back in behind the 66. Now he's the one pushing Stevenson through on the middle lane. But Villalobos did take the initiative to make it 3 wide with Santi Messi pushing him. But while all that's happening, that's just allowing AF Walsh to get a bit of a big lead. And it looks like most everybody in that accident able to get to minimum speed, no issues.
Yeah, a couple of those trucks only had like minor damage from like maybe hit the truck in front of them or get their sides knocked in a little bit. The real ones who took the hit were the 2 that are currently out of the race, the 43 and 54. So kind of not surprised to see that, but man, this year's 98 team, this team, granted the driver, this is his first, I believe this is his first truck start.
At least of this season. He's raced with this team before.
Of this season, but his first start in a while, and he's gunning for the lead here. He's kind of reeled back in Walsh, and
he's got the fight to him. He's got his teammate back there, too, for support, should he need it. I don't know if he does need it, because Rimmel pulls down to the inside. He's going to try and make a move for the lead into 3, and look further back. Stevenson's battling with Jesse Turner, who's fought his way into the top 5.
And I got to say, I'm impressed with the early run here out of Turner, because for a guy that's only making his 3rd Truck Series start, I mean, we talked about Mills and the couple starts he's made. Turner's got some momentum on his side here and currently running in the top 5, trying to see if he can get more here and see if he can actually get Mills at the moment.
Well, this is already a very good outing for a lot of guys who needed good days. Walsh, for example, he entered this race 11 points behind the lead, and as they run right now, he would actually take the points lead from AF Walsh, or from Paul Villalobos, if it ends like this. But we still got a lot of racing still to go. As how about this? We got some new contenders. William Ayers in the 11 truck has fought his way to the top 10, and right behind him, Wyatt Wilkinson, making only their 4th start of the season. They fought their way up to almost a top 10 position in this 95.
Like I said, this racetrack lends itself to make ground, because again, you can run so many different. There's so many grooves on the racetrack that you can run in the middle, the top, the bottom, and anywhere in between. That we see charges like this. How we saw at the start of the race with the 02 and the 13. So
yeah, look at the 95.
I'm not surprised to see that we're seeing these chargers.
That 95 is really going places, and their teammate Maverick McAlton in the 15's not that far behind either. You see him in that white and blue truck back there. He's trying to make a run at it. He's currently riding in the top 15, but Wilkinson already into 8th place and looking for more.
And we also got to keep in mind that in this little swarm is our point leader. And again, we just saw what happened with that previous incident. Yes, it's awesome to watch them run 3 and 4 wide, but how easily it can go wrong. And we got to be aware, and I'm sure that's what the 66 team was thinking too. They're a playoff contender. They don't want to end up getting damaged like the 08 truck did. So you got to be careful when you get back in this pack that you pick and choose your battles and getting back to the front.
Yeah, you see the 66, he's already fallen out of the top 10 in his battles that he's picking
Whitmore
and choosing.
slid up the hill a little bit there. I hate to interrupt, but Whitmore slid up the hill a little bit there in 1 and 2. I thought they were almost going to make contact with him in the 98. So
how about this 25 as well? Samantha Jade, Whitmer's teammate. Samantha Jade started this race all the way. Where did Samantha Jade start this race? I'm checking my notes. Wow, okay. She started down in 35th place, and it's only taken her about 15 laps to get to the top 5.
I'm telling you, this is why drivers love this racetrack, because you can go places. You're not necessarily, just because you start, in the 20s or 30s, does not necessarily mean you can't race your way up there, as we've clearly seen today. And Jay is actually going to try to see get more here out of two, as I believe they're side by side for third. I thought they were going to be three wide there for third for a second, but
Yeah, they are.
the
They are
98
now.
was able to pull away. So
They're side by side. They're three wide for third now with the 6, the 25, and the 91. They're three wide for third. Ayers is still there. Villalobos has snuck his way back in. Messi's in contention. But so far, it remains the AF Walsh show out in the lead of this race. And this is a good run for him and for Fingai Saitomi Motorsports. This is a home game for that team as well. Wouldn't it be something for the Aussie to get them a win at home?
oh yeah, I'm sure. Obviously, running for Fingai, running for that team in both here in the Truck Series and here in the currently in the Superstar this year. But I know how much this would mean for Fingai if they were to win here in home territory. And I'm sure Walsh and Curtis and Wells know how much this would mean to their owner if they were to win. And as we see, Wells is up here as of right now. He is, I think, just outside. I don't think he's actually currently listed in the top 10, but just outside, and Curtis right on the edge of the top 10 too. So I would expect those two to show up before the race is over today. And right now, it looks like Walsh is the lead guy. As again, the three wide action here is just, man, it's just fun to watch this race. Just being a spectator in this.
I hate to interrupt there, but I almost saw the 83 of Audrey Ansack get into the back of David Wells. That could have been a big wreck into turn 3. Glad it wasn't, but that's just, you running on the razor's edge here so often. It's just a matter of time before something happens in this race. And keep in mind as well, we're quickly approaching the halfway point in this race. We could very easily, and we will easily, see green flag pit stops as this goes along, probably within the next 5 to 10 laps.
The other thing I think is kind of cool to note is we're watching the field here. Note the guys who aren't playoff guys that are up here right now. We mentioned the 25. We mentioned the 11. The 95.
98.
You know, the 98 now. The 13. Just because you're not in the playoffs,
you still have stuff to race for.
Like I say, does not mean you still can't make a statement or make your voice known or your name known, as we're seeing today. And Samantha Jade is gunning for second right now. I mean, she's in a battle with that 98 for second. That 25 truck, from, as you said, what was it, 35th from the grid?
Yep. Impressive stuff out of Samantha Jade, as well as Audrey Ansack, who started this race down in 34th. She's knocking on the door of a top 10 as well in that hot pink number 83 back there at the very back of your shot. As Jade now has cleared up into second place, but they're still quite a ways behind AF Walsh, who's been in command of this race pretty much ever since he got to the win.
Now you see what this says to me is, namely the trucks that we just mentioned, the 25 and the 83. They probably didn't have good takeoff or short run trucks for like a qualifying run. But those teams must have worked on those trucks for race runs, because as we get further into this run, get closer to those probable green flag pit stops, these trucks are good longer in a run, which when you have a long green flag run like this, I'd rather have a truck like that. As Jade, I'm telling you, this 25 truck's going to be looking for the lead. I mean, it may not happen this lap, it may take a couple laps, but this 25 truck is strong enough right now. I think they could get the lead here. I know they probably want to try to see if they can get it before the pit stops, but man, I'm telling you, that truck is going to be a player.
And the Roberts Racing teammates are back in the conversation. Stevenson fighting his way to the outside of Samantha Jade for second spot. We already know Stevenson's on his way to Express Motorsports next season, but wouldn't he love to give a good farewell present to Roberts Racing with a win here at Michigan? He's come so close to win so many times in the 6 truck this season, and he's now fought his way back up into the runners-up spot with 18 laps to go.
You see, as we get closer and closer to what probable pit stops, and which could determine the race. I mean, we've seen pit stops before determine the race, how quickly you can get on and off, and what you do could determine that.
Yeah.
But I think we're starting to see the players sort out here is who's probably going to be the players involved as long as they have a good pit stop. Walsh has pretty much been the dominant truck out front. Nobody's really challenged him since he's gotten the lead. Stevenson, of course, you know, the 66 who we've talked about pretty much it seems like all season. Jade we've talked about already today. The 98 still up here.
Three's
Messi
been a silent contender in the top 10 all day.
Going to be challenging for the top 5 possibly here. So, would teammates? Oh, the 66 volt. Paul slid it in there, and I don't know if there was contact between him and Stevenson, but it definitely was close.
Yeah, and that's not what Roberts Racing wants, is for both of their trucks to get caught up in the same accident. That would be a disaster for a team trying to win a championship for the first time in one-up competition. As we got our first taker on pit road, and it's the 25 of Samantha Jade, trying to take the initiative by pitting early.
Now we'll see how this works out for her. Again, she came in the top 5. We'll see which one benefits more, pitting early or pitting later here.
We got a few other takers as well. Reggie Fogelman in the 0. Most of the other takers were very far down the order, probably not going to factor in. But keep an eye on the 25 and the 0. Once this all cycles out, I'm very curious to see where they shake out.
Also, again, we'll compare because we're going to get the next group coming in here. It'll be the teammates that lead us to pit road this time.
Rimmel's in, Whitmer's in, Wells, Anzac, Rhodes Gray is coming in. A bigger wave of trucks this time around than what we saw the first time. But AF Walsh continuing to hang it out there. He's going to try and build a tire delta that he can use later on in the run.
Well, he's had the dominant truck, so we'll see if he can, pitting later, if he can use that truck to get back up to this position. As Messi now currently second. Again, the way the cycle is right now, currently second of this group. As this group will hit pit road now, and this should be pretty much the remainder of the field.
Yeah, Turner's in, Wilkinson, Chastain. But there's Fogelman and Samantha Jade. It's going to take them about a lap to cycle back around again. But let's see. Ooh, wow. Whitmer's forcing Villalobos onto the grass there on the pit exit. He really wanted to get ahead of that 66 there.
Yeah, but notably to note, compared to the 6 and the 25, look at the gain the 0 is going to get.
Yes, he was running at the very back of the league group, so very big gains for Reggie Fogelman in that 0 truck.
We'll have to see versus this group, but the strategy of pitting early, at least from the visual, at least those two groups, looks like it's paid off for Jade. We'll see how she looks coming around to this group. She's easily going to
clear this group as well. She's already passed Walsh. So Samantha Jade's going to build a really decent lead with about 14 laps to go. I'm very curious, A, how big that lead's going to be, and B, if she can hold on to it.
Well, the key there, I think, is can these guys run her down? Because essentially what you're doing when you pit late is you're hoping that your tires are good enough that you can catch that gap back up, catch that truck and pass them before, well, in this case, the end of the race, but in most cases, to the next cycle.
Yeah, it's 2 seconds.
That's the hope of when you pit that late. So we'll see. Compare that gap between Walsh and really it's Walsh and Jamie need to watch the gap on, even though the 0 will be the first one on a different strat of the 25. But
yeah, there are a couple guys.
The 02 is going to be on the freshest tires.
A couple guys that had slow stops. Jesse Turner being one of them. Francois Chastain. Oh, and DJ Curtis as well. They were running in the top 15 prior to the pit stops, but now you see this 22 of Curtis down in 30th place. I'm wondering if they either had a slow stop or if they got boxed in on their way out. Regardless, they have a big hole to dig themselves out of in the final few bits of this race. And man, we were talking about how they were going to close that gap. It's already gone down to a 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, Whitmer. How about Justin Whitmer now into second? Whitmer, we really haven't seen much of in these first 2 races. Could this be a statement race for the 91 team? Could this be their recovery race to get back into the championship hunt? And I mean, here he is, second, trying to run down Jade here with 11 laps to go. And he's definitely proven he's had a truck that's kind of hung around the top 10 the whole day, too. So,
Yeah, and he got the lead in
I don't
half.
know, this 91 maybe sneaking here.
Yeah, and remember, these are teammates racing each other for the lead, Jade and Whitmer. Jade, of course, looking for her first career win in the Truck Series. You got to keep that in mind. So I don't think she's going to want to roll over and make it easy for her championship contending teammate to take the lead of this race. I don't think she'll have a choice.
I just don't know if the... Yeah, I gotta say, I just don't think that her tires are going to allow her to hang on here. And again, I understand why you pit early. You know, you're trying to get the tire advantage early to get the gap. But the problem is you got to try to maintain that gap. And I think the tires behind her, especially on several guys who are playoff contenders like Whitmer, like the 66, like Walsh, I just don't think she was going to hold them off. And how about Walsh, though?
Yeah, he's the guy I'm keeping my eye on for sure, because he's already climbed up to fourth, about to be third on the freshest tires in the field. If he can get to Whitmer, it'll be lights out from there.
Well, I was watching this too, because that's why I said when they came off pit road, I'm comparing the 25 to the 02, because Walsh was almost 3 seconds back at Jade when they came off pit road, where he cycled in. He's now... We'll see here, just, 0.3 of a second behind the race lead? I mean, you put the best truck of the day so far on the freshest tires, I think it's going to be hard for anybody to hold off that 02 truck.
Well, Villalobos and Whitmer, they're going to give it their best shot, because we're coming to 8 laps to go, basically, when we get to the line. But you got to keep in mind as well, this race is far from over, because look, you saw it just in a flash by on the screen. We've got some lap traffic to deal with in the remainder of this race, and we have no idea how they're going to play a factor in the outcome.
And the other thing we got to keep in mind too, granted we're not seeing the packing up at the moment, granted we got a little pack here, but if we get with enough laps to go here and a caution comes out, that could be the race as well. So that's something else we got to keep in mind with, especially with Walsh's charge here. He's got to get Whitmore with enough time that if something happens, that he's in front. You know, you can't be banking on there being something happening and you get a restart. You may not get a restart. So if you got your opportunity to go get him, pretty much.
And it leads me to wonder, with Whitmer holding Walsh off so well, it makes me wonder if they did something on his pit stop to get him a little lighter. Maybe they put a little less fuel in. Either way, regardless, he's under fire from AF Walsh, and they're about to catch the likes of Josh Gibson and Derek Hamill to put them a lap down.
So this is where Whitmer's got to be careful, because he can't get himself trapped, but
I think
Walsh is just going to drive around him. Yeah, I mean, this 02 truck has been strong the whole day.
Yeah, he's used to
58. He just literally drove around Whitmer. I don't even think he really... I think he was in the process of already passing the 91 when they cut the 58, so...
Well,
I think it was too late to catch the lap traffic for Whitmer to try to help. Have the lap traffic try to help him.
But it's far from over, because they're going to catch Romashko in the 44 to put him a lap down, and he's a lot slower than the 58 and 59 were. So if Walsh catches Romashko in a bad spot, that could open the door for the likes of Whitmer, Villalobos, and Messi to strike again. It's become the 5 to go.
And again, Messi having a decent run here. You're going to try to get that podium spot from the 66.
Yeah, and he was 7th in the points going in.
That's why I said you get these guys like Whitmer and Messi, who are lower on the end of the points, having basically top 5 runs. This is what you need to do when you're in that position. You need to shoot for the fences. You got to go for possibly winning the race if you can to try to gain those points back.
Oh, but look at this. Whitmer's not done. He's going for it again.
I was going to say, this is exactly what I was saying. He's going to try everything he can to try to win this race, because he knows where he's at in points. He knows he needs to start making a dent in that margin. The best way to do that is to go out and win the race, and he put it to Walsh here. I think he's going to get the lead here down the front stretch.
That he certainly will, and if Walsh gets stuck racing with Villalobos and Messi, that could leave Whitmer home free here. But we know, after watching enough of these races, you're never home free until the checkered flag flies. Remember this race a year ago? We saw our closest margin of victory in Truck Series history. between the likes of Messi and Audrey Ansack, only about 5/1000ths of a second, I believe it was that day. But we're now coming to 3 laps to go, and Walsh is back on the attack once again.
Now, what could make the difference maker here is if the 66 and 3 get into the up here, a little draft assistance could make the difference as to whether it's the 02 or the 91 that gets out front. And as we can see, it's right now it's the 02. He's got the help from the 66. Granted, I'm sure the 66 doesn't want to be helping his competition, but
they're all competition.
That's kind of what he's doing at this point.
Look at this. The 11's joining the battle. William Ayers in the 11 truck for Crossroads Racing. He's going to try and stick it in, try and get a top 5 finish.
Well, we'll be coming to 2 laps to go here, 4 miles at this 2-mile racetrack to settle this truck race. As you said it, last year's race, we had a photo finish here. Could we be getting ready for another one?
And you got to think, Messi was so close to the win here last year. He would really love to redeem that with a win here today. But we're coming to the white flag this time. AF Walsh holds the lead of this thing. Whitmer in second. Messi's got to get by 2 of them if he's going to have a shot at it again.
Whitmer, I think, may have leaned against the rear bumper of the 02 in the middle of 1 and 2 there.
Oh, he's slowing now. Whitmer's a little slow on the racetrack. He's coming to pit road to come into the white flag. They must have underfueled the truck, and it was not enough to get him to the finish.
Oh, man, you got to. I mean, we still got to settle the race here. Messi is battling the 66 for second. But, man, you got to feel for the 91 team to come up that short. I mean, they were that close to getting a podium finish here at worst. As they come down the back straightaway, it looks like I think Walsh is going to hang on here. He's got a good enough gap over the 3.
Now the question is, will William Ayers steal a podium off of the points leader, Villalobos? Because coming out of turn 4 for the final time, AF Walsh has driven this race to perfection and becomes the Truck Series' first 3-time winner in 2025. Walsh gets the job done at Michigan for Fingai Saitomi Motorsports in their backyard. Messi comes home second. Villalobos does hold off William Ayers for third, but Ayers still with a very strong performance in 4th spot. And how about a tip of the hat to Wyatt Wilkinson, only to about their 4th or 5th start this season, and they bring it home in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about these guys making limited truck starts and making a name. This is how you make a name for yourself. You get a top 5 run, teams are going to take note of you.
Yeah, we know Wilkinson's going to be back with that one racing team next season, and this is going to be a huge shot in the arm for them. They really needed a run like that. But you got to feel, we were talking about it just a minute ago, you got to feel for Justin Whitmer. He led a good chunk of this race, but in the end, it was not enough. The fuel didn't hold, and it's 36th place for the 91 team.
Man, I just feel for them, though. They had an opportunity, a chance to make a gain in points, and you wonder, again, we talked about it, you wonder if the decision to short fuel him was just to give him a lighter truck to maybe move it a little bit more, he was able to take the fight to Walsh there, and unfortunately that decision cost him in the long run because they lost all those possible points they could have gained, and now you got to go into recovery. Now you really are in a situation where you're going to have to possibly go for a win or a win or 2 if you're going to try to get back into this championship fight.
Yeah, and what better place to do that than our next stop on the 1UP Turbo Truck Series schedule, Talladega Super Speedway. That is going to be one of the all-time great races of the season. It usually is for our Turbo Truck Series stars. We'll see you guys, hopefully, then for an epic race at Talladega. But until we see you at Talladega, from Ryan Griffin and from myself as well, thanks for joining us for a thrill ride from start to finish at Michigan. We had some thrills, we had some spills, we had some tumbles down the back straight, but in the end, it was AF Walsh scoring his 3rd career win, and for good measure, he's now your championship leader as we head to the wild card that is Talladega.